Welcome back to the Ed Show. Thanks for watching tonight. I love this story. The auto industry is making a big comeback. It's good for the industry, and it's good for the United States of America. Democrats are on the winning side of the issue, and they're going to take advantage of it, as they should. Here's part of an ad from the DNC.
If you write a check, they're going to go out of business.
Why can't they get the loan if that's what they're seeking from the private sector?
Mr. Speaker, the most radical president in American history.
I think that's clearly true. Look at what they did with General Motors and Chrysler.
And then it's a slippery slope. Where does it end?
It is a banner day for the resurgent U.S. auto industry. Less than 2 years after coming out of bankruptcy, General Motors announced today it is adding 4,000 American jobs.
Chrysler will pay off its remaining debt to the U.S. Treasury Tuesday.
And that is the bottom line, a victory for the president who was standing alone with no bipartisan help. Let's bring in Congressman Gary Peters of Michigan. Congressman, good to have you with us tonight. The word radical now goes out the window, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly does. Success is pretty clear. We've got Chrysler paying back their loan and paying it back 6 years early, creating jobs, keeping the American auto sector healthy and American manufacturing in the process. And it wouldn't have happened without President Obama stepping up to the plate.
And why do you think so many Republicans were against this? What information did they have, or do you think they were working from, that made them think that there was just no way that the American worker could succeed?
It's just blind ideology, and it isn't, there's no faith in the American workers, as you mentioned. We had John McCain a year and a half ago saying, if anybody believes that Chrysler is going to survive, I'd like to meet that individual. Well, I'd love to take him to Auburn Hills now and show that the American workers believed in Chrysler. They're making a success. They're paying back the taxpayers, the loans, and jobs are being created. It is what makes America great, and when you believe in American workers, that's going to be a success and a home run anytime.
Well, how could Mitt Romney be from Michigan and not believe in the American workers? Your take on that, because he was pretty adamant, as you saw in that ad that was put out by the DNC. It's on record where he stood.
Well, it is. He comes from Michigan. Actually, his father was in the auto industry. To have that view is really incredible. Again, he's appealing to the real far fringe, the right-wing base, and not looking at practical common sense of standing behind American workers. President Obama did. He stepped forward, made a very unpopular decision, but it's paying back in really great rewards to the American workers and to the American economy because of his courage.
All right. The comment from Mitt Romney was, if General Motors, Ford, Chrysler get the what he called bailout, their chief executives asked for yesterday, you can kiss the American automobile industry goodbye. How aggressive should the Democrats be with this in campaigning, and what does this really illustrate?
Well, we have to be very aggressive in this. This is a great success story. You had General Motors and Chrysler, because of the crisis on Wall Street and the lack of financing, you had these companies nearly disappearing, and in the process, hundreds of thousands of jobs. But because the president stepped up and said, I'm not going to give up on the American workers, on American companies, these companies were able to turn things around. They've got great products and are now competitive and saving not only the jobs with General Motors and Chrysler, but all of the suppliers. These are hundreds of thousands of jobs across America, and good paying middle class jobs. This is about the American middle class and believe the American middle class. And it's very clear the president believed in the American middle class and the Republicans did not.
All right, Congressman, before you leave us tonight, I've got to ask you, what do you think of the results in New York's 26th district? So much made about the Ryan budget, the attack on Medicare and Medicaid. How do you read it tonight?
Well, I read it as that the American public is understanding now that there's very clear differences between Democrats and Republicans, and they particularly do not like this plan that will dismantle Medicare, which is critical for American seniors. And they've spoken very loud and clear tonight in New York.
Will this back off the Republicans?
Well, it may, but they're pretty much tied into this ideology, and I think they're going to continue to move forward. But it's not something that the American people are buying. They're going to continue to resist, and they certainly do it, I believe, at their peril if the Republicans keep moving this way.
You bet. Going to be interesting to look at that Senate vote coming up. Gary Peters, thanks for your work with the auto workers and for American middle class families. You are a big part of it.